Bad Boys for Life. Okay.
Welcome, Darksiders.
Hey, how is everybody? Welcome to Dark Side Reviews. First thing I have to do is I got to give a shout out, right? You guys recognize the t-shirt. Thank you so much to Avi and Wayne Sword and my nieces Ellis and Harper who made this t-shirt for me. It was a Christmas present. So excited to wear it. We're actually getting closer to 10K right now. So thank you guys so much for making this, and Uncle Al loves you very much. So let's talk about Bad Boys for Life and whether or not this was a good movie. Let's discuss it, because as you guys know, I was not very excited to see this film. I thought the trailers were weak, and this movie looks like a throwback from something that really should be gone. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a big fan of the Bad Boys franchise. I know that's like sacrilege to a lot of you guys who love these movies, but I've never been a big fan of it, so I wasn't excited about 3. Now, let's answer the question though. Could I be wrong? I mean, there is a pretty decent buzz about this being a good film. Is this a good movie? Here's my answer. No. I wouldn't classify this as a good movie. I think the movie has a lot of problems technically, writing-wise, and even how they are depicting some of the villains in this. It has a whole bunch of issues. That said, is it an entertaining movie? Absolutely. The movie was a lot of fun, and I think that is really going to be the bridge to move this movie forward. I think that's why a lot of folks are going to love this film. It is a lot of fun. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are great in this. Their chemistry is great. What they do with Martin Lawrence's character arc is good in this, and it really does help to move the story forward in a funny and energetic way. And the pacing of this movie is really good as well. So I think you're going to have a really good time in this movie. And if you love the franchise, I think this movie is just going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be something that you waited for a long time. And now that it's finally here, I think that you are really going to enjoy this film. So the entertainment factor for this is high. I feel like you are definitely going to have fun in this film, and folks in my theater were laughing out loud, and there were plenty of times where I was laughing. And they also do enough with the story to make it kind of interesting, and some surprising things happen in this story as well. But this film does have some major problems from a movie making standpoint, so let's talk about that a little bit. And that's why I'm saying that this is not a good movie, but more so an entertaining movie. So the first problem with this to me is the writing. I found the writing kind of a little simplistic, a little bit hokey and cheesy at times, but I find all the writing in the Bad Boys franchise that way. So I wasn't really surprised by that, but I also had some issues with the technical parts of this, the movie making parts of this, some of the camera choices, and then even some of the timing with the transitions I felt was a little bit off. And then some of the angles that they chose when they were transitioning to different shots, trying to kind of set a different scene, I thought were a little bit misplaced. So technically, I didn't think this movie was very good, and it seemed almost a bit juvenile in its production. I can't remember who the director is in this film, and it might even be a new director. If you know who it is, let me know in the comments. I do know that it was not Michael Bay, even though it looks and feels very much like a Michael Bay film. So that's some of the issues that I had with it. I do think that the special effects in this were pretty good. I do think that the stunt work in this was pretty good. I also had a big problem with the antagonist. Again, really feeling kind of cheesy, not a whole bunch of weight or depth to the antagonist, even though they try and build into the story a seriousness as to why the threat to Will and Martin is what they are, but it just doesn't have a whole bunch of weight, and they kind of try and tie things together with this deeper event that happens to really kind of make you feel for these characters, but it just never hits the mark because they're just not well fleshed out, and the way they are designed just seems corny. So at times the film wants to kind of take itself very seriously, and then other times it doesn't, and to that end it has a little bit of a kind of a too much of a tonal shift just in the storytelling aspect of it. It's kind of all over the place tonally for me too, and again, that's part of the problem that I have with this film. But I do think that the average moviegoer is really not going to care that much about what goes on cinematically, because I do think the movie does have enough strength of story and pacing to pull you in for you to really enjoy it from an entertainment factor. And I think because it is so entertaining, the other things that you hear me talking about as someone that critiques films, if you're just a normal moviegoer, you're not going to care about that, and you probably won't even realize any of that, and I think that you are going to have fun. But for those of us that are considered probably more cinephiles and we're looking at all the different technical aspects of the film, I think the things that I shared are really going to jump out at you. But on the whole, I do think that most people will enjoy this movie, and if I had to say check this movie out just from a fun factor, I would say go check this movie out, because the chances are you probably are going to enjoy this film. Alright, Darksiders, so if you like this video, make sure you check out another video right there. As a matter of fact, I'll meet you there. Let's go.